Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it online and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks. You're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tyler with Black Diamond Softball and Fitness, and I got a brand new episode of the Big Three for you. Today I want to get into the coach's mentality when it comes to getting his players or her players recruited to go play at the next level, and the pressure that comes with that. You got different levels of coaching, ones that are very good X's and O's types. And then you've got one that are very good at getting exposure. They have a great network. Then you have a combination of the two. So when we talk about showcase level ball, getting our girls to that next level and where they're going to play, what they want to do, it takes a lot of work. It takes, there's long hours. When you've got a 12, 14, 15 player roster, and you're trying to do the same for each and every one, it's tough. You'll have some girls that are a little bit more savvy when it comes to, helping their own recruiting causes. And then you'll have girls that don't really know too much about it. They're kind of skittish about it. They're nervous. They're not too confident. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know how to go about doing it. So it's a lot of pressure on the coaches. When we're thinking about a network, coaches, they're as good as their network is. And I say that, and not to be disparaging or to, put anybody down, but as coaches, as we continue to grow and our network grows, we're influenced by the people that we're around. So when we see things or we hear things, we kind of put that into our toolbox as well. We may shape it in a different way, but somehow, some way that influences us on the decisions that we make in our future. What we've learned, what we know is used to be one way to do something. Now we do it something completely different. So as you're going up through the ranks, playing 12U, 14, and then now we're up in the 16s or 18s, that next step is to get these girls looked at and get them recruited. And it starts with who has the potential to play at the next level? Who wants to play at the next level? Is it parent driven that, I want my girl to play college ball, and the player may not, doesn't care too much about it. They never really put too much thought into it. They just play the game for fun and don't put too much pressure on themselves. Or is it the player that I have to play college ball. I've got to do whatever it takes to play college ball. They're putting in the extra work. They are studying the game. They're practicing the game. They're getting their rest. They're getting the workouts. They're getting their recovery. They're going to different instructors, strength and conditioning, hitting, pitching, fielding. Everything you can imagine, that's what they're doing. And then again, you'll have something that might be a combination of the two. So as a coach, it's hard to figure out sometimes if it's all parent driven, where, the mom or the daddy says, I've read this, or I've talked to this coach, I've done this. And they can be kind of overbearing. They do their research on their own and they figure out different things, and it's almost like they're trying to tell you what you should do and how you should go about doing it and why you should do it, and not understanding it's at this element, there's a whole lot of girls that you have to help out and to deal with the recruiting element. With those type of parents, it's good to have a conversation and let them know that you're trying to have, the best interest of all the players, not just one, at heart. And you're going to do whatever you can for each individual one. So we want to work together here. And you want those parents that are willing to do that extra stuff, go that extra mile to find camps or that can offer help and kind of become a part of your network. And that's another element to it. And these parents, they network very well too. So you'll have a couple of girls and a couple of sets of parents, whatever, that are friends, but they all play on different teams. So they're getting exposure from different sides. So well, this team does it this way. Well, this team does it this way. And for whatever reason, there's always this inherent competition of, well, yeah, we don't do it that way. We do it this way. Since we do it this way, our way is better. How many times do you feel like that? Or when you have a conversation with a buddy, they think their way is the only way and you're doing it wrong just because you're not doing it the same way they're doing it. Well, there's no clear-cut right way to go about the recruiting process. There's a lot of clear-cut wrong ways to do it, but as far as, what's going to work best for you may not work best for someone else. And, the generic process to the recruiting is the same for pretty much everybody. Just the initial stages, and kind of like what's the whole big pie. First you want to look at the grades. First and foremost, are you making decent grades? Are you making good grades? Are you making great grades? And then from there, you want to go ahead and start a list. The sooner you start a list of schools that you may be interested in, or just starting a list of schools that you know about, a parent list and a player list. A player list is always going to be, most of the time, I'm not going to say always, but most of the time, it's going to be the teams that are most popular within the last couple of years, because those are the ones they hear about. Those are the ones that they see. So those are the ones that's going to be on their list. And you can start with a big old list. You can just Google Division I schools, Division II schools, Division III schools. And then from that list, you can just pick out the ones that are most popular to you for whatever reason. I like their uniform color. I like their location. I like their mascot. And then you just have a list. And then from that list, the parents can have one as well. And if you put those two lists together, there might be some likes or some that are alike. Might even have the same schools. But a lot of times parents are going to know more schools and know more universities. There's a lot of schools out there that we don't know that have a softball program, or there could be one that's up and coming, or they may have gotten rid of their softball program. So once you figure out these schools, you need to see if they even have a program. And then from there, depending on the age of your player, figure out what program, what academic program are they trying to get into? What do they want to do when they get older? What do they want to study? They might be a freshman or a sophomore now. What do they want to study in a couple years? And then you backtrack from there. Okay, well, if I want to be a veterinarian, here's the classes that I should or I need to be taking while I'm in high school. Here's some of the prerequisites that you'll need to get in there. So if you can knock some of those out before you get to college, you can go ahead and start your major courses sooner rather than getting your first year and maybe just taking the general studies classes. And then you could have those students that really they get to the point where they still don't know what they want to study when they get to college. They kind of want to see, and they just take their first year or so, they're taking general study classes, and that happens. That works too. You don't have to have a decision, spring of your freshman year to figure out what you're going to study in your freshman year of college 3-4 years from now. So once you get your schools kind of laid out, then you want to dig into them a little bit, figure out where they're at, figure out their program, just do a little bit of history check on them. What do they typically do? How big of a roster do they have? Who's their coaches? Who's the people that are around the program? Where is the school at? I mean, if you're in Florida, do you want to go up to Maine? If you're in Maine, do you want to go to Nevada? Geographically, where are we looking at? Are we living on campus, off campus? What's the tuition cost of these? So there's some basic information that you need to gather from each school. And then between the parents and the student or the student athlete, at that point, you can kind of talk about things and figure out, this would be nice if we did this, or we need to take this one off the list because of this. And that list can go from 25 schools down to 18 within a matter of minutes. And then you get down to something that's like 15 schools or 12 schools. And then we start getting into the nuts and bolts of each institution and we figure out the tuition and we figure out stuff like that. What could it look like? And then we kind of sit and hold right there and say, okay, here's the schools that I'm interested in. We start looking at camps. We start looking at maybe going to a game. There's different ways that you can get to those schools and get a feel for it. Anytime you go to one of these schools, go to a camp, I always tell my girls, I always tell the athletes that I work with that when you do this, it's almost, or think about it as an unofficial visit. And what I mean by that is when you get there, immediately let's check the traffic situation coming in. Let's check the atmosphere, the literal atmosphere. What's the weather like? Can you see yourself being in this town, in this city, in this area for 4, 5, 6 years, depending on what you're doing? Can you see yourself here? Walking, you can go and talk to the softball coaches there, go knock on the door. I mean, it's not like it's guarded by security. Got to have 4 different levels of security clearance to get to talk to the coaches or something like that. If you're on the campus, you just want to say, hey, what's up? If you can get to the stadium, you can look at it. Can you envision yourself playing on that ball field? Introduce yourself to some of the students that are around. See if there's some faculty there. Just go feel the presence of the school, and take it all in. And then and experience the camp as well. Do you like who's running the camp? And the camp can be ran by a lot of different people. It could be you get a lot of exposure with the players. The players are conducting this camp, and they're out there doing a lot of stuff. You got different coaches, different assistants. You got a lot of people that are going on. So the more people that are involved with it, you can kind of get a good feel. You can get the personality of the program there, and it's big. So don't just go through the motions. I know there's a lot of nervousness. I hear that a lot. Like when I first got there, I was so nervous. Or I've got a camp this weekend, I'm super nervous. And that's just the way it is. You're going to be nervous. It's like the fear of the unknown. And then once you get going, everything, it's just like going to a tournament or first day of school or starting a new job. You have this nervousness about it, and it just comes from you don't know what to expect. It's completely normal. Don't avoid going to camps because you're so nervous. You'll break through, and you'll be glad you did. So with these coaches that are sending their players to these camps, almost have a checklist. Produce some sort of checklist that these key points, these key elements that you want them to accomplish while they're there. And it's like a card that you can laminate it and just check it off. It's something that they can have. Maybe it's a text message encouraging them to take in everything that they can take in. And that's huge for them. It gives the girls some confidence. It's almost like a business trip. I refer to that in my last couple of episodes where sometimes it's more of a business trip than it is leisure. And that's fine. That's the way it is. We talked about professional etiquette. We talked about certain standards and stuff like that in some of the other episodes. But there's a sense of self-pride. There's carrying yourself a certain way. So when you're out there, not only are you trying the school on for size, but someone is looking at you and they're getting an immediate first impression of you. And those last. It could be good and it could be bad depending on the situation. Your personality may not mix with the coaching staff that's there, or just where the school's at. You're just like, yeah, I can't do the city life, or I can't do this out here in the sticks, or whatever. So carry yourself in a professional manner. Even if you can just tell right away about halfway through the camp or whatever, you're just not feeling the camp. It just doesn't jive with you very well. You don't like how it's ran or how it's set up, or it's brand new to you, and it doesn't mix. Not every camp that you go to is going to be the greatest camp in the world. That's how it is. Could be a great camp, and you'd be like, man, this is where I want to go. You could end up going to whatever camp. You can go to a Florida State camp and be like, man, you know what? This is where I'm going to go. And then all of a sudden, all the other schools on your list are gone, and now Florida State is your dream school because you went there, or Tennessee, or wherever, upstate, whatever your pick is. So go there as like an unofficial visit, and coaches go and have some bullet points that you want to see. Make them, kind of push them into a certain way to get their observation. What did you like most about the school? What's your immediate first impression? What didn't you like about the camp? What did you like about the school? What did you like about the stadium? What did you like about the practice facility? What did you like about the weather? What did you like about the city? Get them involved, get them engaged, so they can get a real feedback to themselves. They're not giving this feedback to anyone else, but you want them to hit certain points to get a real sense of how do I like this school, or what don't I like about this? Give them some real feedback that they can take down and compare their different camps and their different schools and their different unofficial visits, so that they can help make them wind their list down a little bit. Because over time, that list is going to get smaller and smaller. And then you start having communication with these coaches. Hey, coach, I was at your camp November 26th. And however you make your neat conversation with that coach, not just, not that you went to camp on 26th, 27th, and 28th at 3 different schools and you send them the same blanket email thanking them for having you there. No, it needs to be particular things. So if we go in there with a checklist of what we want to look for and what we're, going after, we can refer back to that checklist, and you can hit those high points and key points in that email to that coach. A, it's personalized, and B, it's not copy and paste, and C, it makes you look more professional. There's times where you need to be uber professional, and then there's times where they want to see some personality. This is one of those times when we send these emails. It needs to be professional. It needs to be quick, concise, and to the point, and they're going to remember you for that. If you want to send them a handwritten letter thanking them, that goes a long way. Specific times, specific things that happen. If you can remember something that you and that coach did together, had in common, or something that they may remember that you definitely remember, but they may well remember as well, write that in that email, write that in that handwritten letter, so that they can draw on that and they will remember you. So when they see your name, they can see your face. And then stay up with them. Get active on social media with these schools that you've gone to camps to, that you have interest in, that they're on your list. Make sure you're tagging them in pertinent things. If putting together a highlight reel, 30, 45-second reel, after you've gone to a camp. Hey, I went to this camp. We worked on this. I was able to implement it in my game this weekend. There's key things that you can say and do when it comes to that. And coaches doing this with all of your players, it takes time. It takes dedication. And it's a lot of times you don't get thanked for it. A lot of times you may think it goes unseen. But I promise you, coaches, you guys that are doing this, you're seeing the athletes, they appreciate it. They may not know how to say it. Parents, they may not know how to say it. But what you're doing is you're ushering these young athletes into the next layer of their career, next layer of their life. As a coach, I want all girls to have the opportunity to go play college ball. I know it's not realistic. I know not all of them want to. I know all of them have some element of pressure to either go play college ball because they're playing high school ball, they're playing travel ball, and it's just that next step. But some girls just want to play for fun, and then when their playing days are done, they're done. Other girls, it's D1 or bust. Some, it could be, I got to play in college. I don't care where I go, I just want to play. Some girls want to do 50-50. I have my oldest daughter. She is huge into school, absolutely loves school. She could go to school 7 days a week, or she would go to school 7 days a week. She absolutely loves school. She doesn't necessarily have that same passion for athletics, but it doesn't mean she doesn't give her all when she turns it on. It's just not, she doesn't, live, eat, sleep softball. She has a good mix. She has a healthy mix. And I think that's what drives her passion to play the game. My middle daughter, if you put her on a ball field and told her, hey, you're on the ball field all day and you can miss school to go play and this and that, she would she would trade school in for softball any day of the week. And I'm sure everyone out there listening to this, you have a mix of that, whether you have multiple daughters like myself, or if you have one. So coaches, you have different players, you have different personalities. If we're talking 10, 12 player rosters, you'll have somewhere in between. You'll have ones that don't know if they want to play. And I'm sure you have some that think I'm not going to be able to play college ball, or think that they're going to go play D1 and they just don't have the D1 measurables. They want to go Power 5, and they've got pressure from mom and daddy to go play college ball. And they got their blinders on, like a horse racing blinders, whatever those things are called. So, coaches, you're dealing with all of it and trying to get them to the right showcases, trying to email the right coaches, trying to build your network, trying to get your girls the right exposure. When we're on the fields, we're making sure our parents stay in line. That's a whole other element to this whole recruiting process too. Everything we say and do now is being recorded. The eye in the sky. You got parents that are all around the dugout. You got parents that are talking to college coaches saying, hey, yeah, that's my daughter number 4. She does this, this, and this. And they're giving like a whole resume. And that college coach just wants to walk away from it. Like, dude, we're not here for that. Parents don't understand that. Parents may email coaches, and that could be good or bad. A lot of times it's bad, but coaches, you have a lot of pressure on you, and I appreciate everything you do for all your athletes. As far as the college coaches are concerned, I talked to quite a few of them. The recruiting is different every school, every year. It changes. You got the NCAA with their guidelines and the rules and this and that. You've got different needs every year for every team. The transfer portal, you've got redshirt years. So what people are looking and trying to find trends from previous years. Do I even have a shot at making this school? College coaches, they try to communicate as best they can. But at the end of the day, like everything, we wish they communicated more. You may have a college coach that just don't want to rip that Band-Aid off and tell you, hey, we're not interested. And if they don't tell you that, then you feel like you have a chance. And then at the end of the day, you don't end up signing to go play at this school. They went somewhere else, and now you're kind of left holding the bag, and then you got to scramble to try to figure out where you're going. Happens a lot. You could get some bum scoop. You could, they may have already been done recruiting your class, and you don't know that yet. You could have been led to believe one thing, and it's something completely different. So as college coaches, try to be as transparent as possible. And of course, they do the best they can. But with that, I'll say this. They can't show their hand as early as we would like as parents and as players, high school players coming in, because when you're looking at these like top 100 rated college, or these recruits that are coming out with pitchers or hitters or whatever, all these position players, it sort of falls from the top. So just like if you have player X and on everybody's board in the Power 5, everybody wants a chance to have this player come. It could be the best pitcher, in this class. So we got to figure out where she's going to go. Well, if she doesn't go to us, who's our next? So they have a list, and it's kind of like the trickle-down effect. And if you're not up there in that upper echelon, which the majority of us aren't, we kind of have to wait and see what's up. And you could, there's a lot of roster spots that are filled with either, with walk-ons and girls that'll probably never see the field, but they, have vital roles on the team. They're important to the team. That could be your athlete. Your athlete may go to college and be on the ball field, or be on the team for 4 years, but never step on the field in a game. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And at the end of the day, that college coach's career, job, everything they do is on the line. So they got to make sure whoever they select to wear that uniform is who they're going to put their career on the line with. That's essentially what it is. When you boil it down, this 22 person roster is who I've got to go with. And these are the 22 that I'm going with. You may not be on Virginia's radar, but you could be on JMU's radar. You may not be on NC State's radar, but you could be on Oregon's radar. It's whatever that coach is feeling at the moment. And then we have to deal with those coaching changes. I think there was 40 something Division I coaching changes this past year, something like that. So as a coach leaves, there's a new philosophy put in place. There's new changes that are in place. You got retirements, resignations, firings. A lot of it changes, and then we have to wait and see what the NCAA says and what they're going to do, because they change their rules for this and that a lot, and we just got to make sure we're in compliance as a student athlete and as an institution. The recruiting windows. I posted the Division I recruiting calendar. Division II and Division III, theirs is slightly different, but there's still parameters that they have to fall in and make sure that they're not breaking any rules for different things. And then you've got the name, image, and likeness element to this. Girls are starting to get paid to go to different colleges to play, and that's a whole other can of worms that maybe we get into it at a different day. But with this, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things when it comes to the recruiting side of it, and going into the winter months and then coming into the spring of next year. There's still a lot of signing going on, like girls that are figuring out where they're going to go. Maybe they didn't get that call right away like they thought they would, or there could be different things. You could be recovering from an injury, or you're trying to get a clean bill of health, or maybe you can't decide what school you want to go to. D2 and D3, still you're playing college ball. So this whole D1 or bust thing mentality is just, I've never believed in that. But now I think everyone sees that the gap from D1 to D2 as far as talent is concerned, it's not like it used to be. There are D2 schools that would give D1 schools a run for their money and beat a lot of them. D3 schools the same way. It's just that these girls are focusing on other things and they play softball. It's not they are softball players and they do other things. It's softball is a part of whatever, You need to look at the workload. Before I get out of here with this one, let's talk a little bit about the workload. When you're at camps, ask certain questions. When you're doing your research, figure out the workload. Early morning workouts and practices, and then you have school all day, and then you have recovery, then you have lunch, then you have study, then you have film, and then you have another practice, and then you have position. So figure out, your workload. What are you going to keep up with? And that information's out there. So if you're a junior or senior and you're looking to go play ball, you need to start upping your game a little bit as far as your workload. So when you get there, you're not a fish out of water. It doesn't matter where you go, D1, D2, D3, JUCO, it doesn't matter. Start trying to get into that mindset of a college athlete, the study hours, the classes, the workload, the homework, your early morning workouts, your late night workout sessions, dealing with nutrition. That's another element. College students, man, the nutrition kind of goes by the wayside. It's easy to go to McDonald's and grab something, or grab something fried from the chow hall or the mess hall or the cafeteria, whatever they call them these days. There's a lot that goes on. So when we go to these camps, man, try to figure out as much as you can. It's just going to help you make your decision on where you want to go. And don't make this decision based on someone else. Mama wants me to go to Tennessee, so I'm doing everything I can to go to Tennessee. Like, do it for you. I know you love your mama, and I promise you just, continuing your career doing something, whether it's continuing to play softball or you're going to get a college education, your mama's going to be proud of you. So, all right. So with that, we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Big Three. I guess it was kind of like a big one that had a couple of different elements to it. If you're not yet subscribed to the podcast, please hit the like or the follow wherever you're listening, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Google, wherever you're listening to this at. I do appreciate that. And there are plenty of episodes that have come out before this, and there'll be plenty of episodes that come out after this. So make sure you've hit whatever notification bell that you have to so that you get the most up-to-date podcasts when they do come out. So thank you guys, and I will catch you guys again soon.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.